Hello, I'm Asif Farouk of Finextra, and I'm here today with Tom DeLuca of AMP Credit Technologies. So Tom, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Let's start by, I've got to ask you, why aren't banks doing what you're doing currently?
Well, I think it's just a matter of time. I believe that banks will be doing what we're doing, which is obviously lending to their own small business customers, utilizing the cash flow information and other data points that exist within the bank systems. So I think it's just a function of timing. Banks are starting to feel more comfortable that this is a scalable business, that you can manage the risks, and that there's significant client demand. So I think it's just a matter of time until banks do begin to use this. And frankly, we want to be the technology platform that the banks go to when they're ready to do that.
Let's talk about disintermediation. Well, I hear it so much in this industry about new companies coming in and replacing banks. Is that something you've heard, and what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think the fact that there is a genuine threat of disintermediation shows that there's real opportunity there. I think in many cases in financial technology, you'll get entrepreneurs who try out a technology, are willing to invest in building a technology platform, are willing to take risk that a bank is unprepared to take, and then they will show that you can make a viable return on investment by doing that, servicing customers. And so you'll have customers of the banks moving over. So genuine disintermediation, I think that's quite real. And I think in the context of small business lending, that's very much happening, that the banks are very much under threat of being disintermediated from the small business customers. However, to me, that proves out AMP's business model in the sense that when the opportunity becomes big enough and the threat of disintermediation becomes sufficiently significant from the bank's strategy standpoint, then the bank will say, okay, I believe in the business model, I believe the risk can be managed, now where do I get the technology? Because I'm not going to be disintermediated. So yes, it's real.
So there's a tipping point when a bank realizes, actually, I could turn to someone to supply these services.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Okay. Lastly, when you get involved in a new relationship, with whether it be with an institution, a bank, who's taking the risk in that relationship?
Certainly. Again, we provide the technology platform that allows a bank or other financial institution to provide loans to their small business customers. So the core element is the technology associated with it. The banks, they're not really designed to build new technologies to go out and try these types of things. It's far more efficient to use software as a service model, as AMP makes available, so they can get into business quickly without any integration of the systems. The financial question of who holds the risk is an element of that. So the technology is there for the bank to use from AMP. Now, the long term is that we believe banks have superior cost of capital, that banks have the distribution, they have the regulation, regulatory compliance, and they certainly have the relationship with the customer. So we think in the long term the bank would prefer to just take the risk, have the entire financial relationship, and have AMP very quietly processing on the back. However, as we move in that direction, there are clients and financial institutions who might say, I'd love to offer this loan product to my small business customer because I know there's a demand for it, and as we mentioned before, the threat of disintermediation is there, but I can't get management to agree on accepting risk. In that case, AMP comes into play with our subsidiary company, Amplify Capital, and in that is our fully FCA approved and licensed business to provide loans directly. So that model is very much a channel partnership. The financial institution will effectively offer our loans to their small business customers. AMP will step in with Amplify Capital, and we will fund the loans off of our book, fully compliant with the FCA requirements, and we'll take the risk on that.